I would like to invite Dr. Shah Azmi Lashal.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and good afternoon. Okay, the title of my presentation today is a framework for forming a diverse multidisciplinary team. So I know you must be wondering what this is all about. So okay, first of all, let me ask you a question. Okay, so I want to ask you a question before we start. The first question is, how many of you have worked in teams? So just give a raise of a hand. Okay, so I'm pretty sure many of you have the experience of working in teams. So the next question is, so based on your experience when working in teams, what makes your team successful? So successful in terms of producing your work, or having a successful in terms of collaboration. So any factors that come into mind, what makes a successful team? So do you have any feedback? Trust. Okay, so it's important to have trust within a team. So what else? Anything else? Okay, commitment, trust, and among other things. Okay, so my topic is touching on diversity. So for me, as I look into the literature on team skills, so it's important to have diversity in teams, okay? Especially when working in teams. So therefore, okay, as an introduction, diversity in team encourages students. So this topic involves around student teams. So therefore, diversity in team encourages students to challenge and compete with one another, okay, while searching for new ideas, and which in turn can lead to better team performance. So it's important to have diversity in teams. So that's my main point, okay. So for example here, in a well-functioning diverse teams, students who perform poorly may gain benefit by observing others who are doing well than them. So therefore, in a diverse team, we have students who are not performing as well, and then we have students who are performing excellent. So therefore, we must balance that in order for students to learn from each other, okay? Okay, the next point is that students may also benefit by getting advice and assistance from the well-performed students, okay? So studies have shown that Malaysian university graduates lack of team skills because before this, they do not have that opportunity to work in teams while in universities or in schools. Okay, so the purpose of this paper is to propose a framework, okay, framework for forming a diverse multidisciplinary team among engineering undergraduates based on selected criteria. So the selected criteria such as, number one, personality type. So I will use Kiersey temperament sorter, which is a personality test. Okay. Number two, we use gender to balance the teams, and the other one is demographic information. So demographic information in this case can be, do they have background in engineering, or do they have background in programming? So those are the examples of skills that we are looking for when we want to form the teams. Okay. The purpose of the framework is to consolidate the existing team formation literature and to develop and test interventions for maximizing individual member and team performance. Because when we put the students in teams, we want to make sure that they are able to help one another based on their personalities. So I'm sure that each of us have different personalities, right? So therefore, if we are put together in a balanced teams, we can complement each other in one way or another. Okay. So okay, for this study specifically, we put together student teams from different faculties. So I will show you an example of the project later. Okay, what they are working on. So these are first year engineering students. Okay, engineering students coming from FKE, Faculty of Electrical Engineering, Faculty of Mechanical Engineering, Faculty of Biosciences and Medical Engineering, FBME. So these students from the three faculties are put together in teams to work on a project, and that project later will become a competition for the students, which is to create a robot. Okay. Okay, and to put the teams together, I use Kiersey temperament sorter, which is instrument can be used to identify which personality the students belong to. Okay. Okay. So this is quite small. I prepared an infographic on the team's formation, but we will look into detail one by one. So if you okay, so on top here is we will zoom in later on. But on top here we can see the students coming from FKM, FKE, and FBME. So therefore they will fill out a survey mentioning what skills do they have, whether they have programming skills or basic engineering skills. Okay, so later on they will complete a Kiersey personality test, and based on that results, the demographic plus the Kiersey personality test, we will put them into teams. Okay, teams, because these are large teams. This semester alone we have about 22 students per team. So these 22 students, like 5 coming from FBME, 5 from another faculty, and so on. Okay. Okay. So later on, we expect the students to have developed these skills based on the teams that we put together. We expect them to have skills in terms of commitment, flexibility, participation, responsibility, preparation, and communication. These are among the 6 factors. There's many other factors that we want to measure, but right now we are only measuring the 6 factors. And later on, they will work together. So each of the faculty will have their own task, working on one robot. So they will come up with one robot, and this robot will compete in the competition. Okay. Okay. As I explained earlier, the students coming from different faculties, they will have to fill in a demographic survey, and then they will complete a Kiersey personality test, and then we will put them into teams. So this is the team formation process. Okay, let's look. I wonder if many of you have seen Kiersey personality test. Yes? Yes? Excuse me? I can show you. Yeah, let me show you. Okay, so this is what I give the students because in order, I give them just instructions on how to complete the Kiersey. Nampak tak? Okay. Okay, so go to kiersey.com and then click on the instructions, like as I mentioned here, and then they will have to complete about, if I'm not mistaken, about 72 questions. 72 questions, and after they complete these 72 questions, is a multiple choice questions. Okay. Yeah, these are 71 questions. Okay. So then they will email to me the results. So the results will look something like this. So there are 4 quadrants in Kiersey. So one of it is artisan. So it represents something, a meaning. Okay. Okay. And second of all, I want to show you okay, the second one I want to show you is the assignment. I mentioned about the robot. So what they are working on actually is, okay, this is the assignment for the students who were combined into teams coming from different faculties. Okay, so it's a smart hospital food delivery robot competition. So they will be given Lego Mindstorm. If you are familiar with that, Lego Mindstorm, students will be given that. The teams, each team, there are 15 teams altogether with 22 members each. So they will have to come up with a robot. Okay. So the robot will have a function. They have to make sure that this robot can function in terms of the arm can move, whether it can carry water, because the task here is to make sure that, if you can read here, the objective of the game is to describe the goal serving meals. So which means that this robot have to serve water to patients. So at the end of the day, during the competition, we will prepare like a place on the floor where the students will have to put their robot there and make sure that the robot can pick up the cup of water from the from the pantry, and then he walk it over to the patient and put it next to the patient's table, okay, next to the patient's bed. So I have some pictures. This is the layout of how it would look like. So, and this is the cup of water. So it's a challenge to the students, it's a challenge to students whether the robot can pick up a full cup of water or not. And also not dropping, they cannot drop the water. So if at the end of the day, they will measure how many, how much water is left in the cup. So it's really tough competition, right? I'm not sure if I can do it. So the students are working in teams to produce this, okay? Okay, so there are points provided for students. Okay, let's go back to the presentation. Okay, so in here there's 4 types of personality here. The main one is guardian, idealist, rationals, and artisan. Okay, so on the below part of the PowerPoint there you can see some examples of famous people who belong to the different quadrants. So the personality test is free, so everyone can go in and do the 71 questions if you are up to it, and see whether which character or which personality you belong to, Okay. Okay, it's fun. I did it. Okay. So, so the next step, as we can see in our infographic just now, so these are the team skills that I want to enhance among the students, okay? In terms of commitment, flexibility, participation, responsibility, preparation, and communication. I'm sure there are many other characters that we want to improve on among the students, but for now we are only focusing on these 6. Okay. Okay. So when talking about the framework, this is what we produce, okay? So the input, process, output is coming from the literature research from others. So then our team added the team formation part, the green boxes here. So we wanted to add in terms of diversity, like my title mentioned about diversity. So there is 2 types of diversity here. There is demographic diversity. It has gender, race, background knowledge on engineering, such as, like I said, programming skills or something like that. Okay. So another one is psychological diversity, which is the personality test. Okay. So therefore, the team it's important to at first to identify, the students, the personality before putting them into teams. Okay. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize it's not clear here. Okay. So this is an example of how students work in teams. So it's very noisy, very messy, but all these students are sitting in teams and they have a Lego Mindstorm set with them. So each team, okay. But this is only FBME students only. So I visited them about 3 weeks ago. So for example, this is one team. Now they have the robot in their hands. But now the challenge is to meet up with the students from FKE and FKM. So see how they can put together their robots, because FBME is only in charge of designing the robot. So they design the robot in terms of some of it. Okay, for example, some when they pick up the cup, they can design it this way, and some students design it this way. So I asked them, what's the difference? You know, picking up the water this way versus this way. So they all have their reasons. Yeah? So it's very interesting to see. So I went to almost each of the teams and asked them why they design it that way. So they all have a reason. Okay. And then FKE students are in charge of the electronic components. Yeah? So once the robot is designed, they have to make sure that the electric components, assembly, coding is put together by the students from electrical engineering. And the mechanical students are working on the fabrication, bending, and cutting, and so on. Okay, so last year there were only 3 faculties involved. So now this year they made it more challenging, where they added computer science students. So imagine last year we did it. We had about 108 students, okay, from 3 faculties. So this year, when we combine all the students, we had about 280 students from 4 faculties. So now they added an element for computer science students to focus on the Bluetooth connection and coding of apps. So they want to make sure that the robot can function using Bluetooth. Yeah? Okay. So this is the large group meeting. They have large group meetings 3 times during the semester. So it gets very, very noisy, almost 300 students sitting in this area. Okay, so yeah, each student have 22 members coming from different faculties. So it gets very noisy. But I think they have fun. It looks like they have fun. So I hope they're having fun, while designing the robot. Okay, so diversity can be categorized into demographic and psychological diversity, as I mentioned earlier in the as I mentioned here in this framework. Yeah? Okay, demographic diversity comprises of gender, race, and background knowledge of engineering, and then psychological comprises of the personality. Okay, so by using this framework, a diverse multidisciplinary team can be formed. Okay, as a conclusion, diversity in team is important to provide opportunities for students to work with different personalities and skills to work together. So we are giving them an opportunity, because if we don't do this, then they might, if we ask them to put your teams together, they might just, grab somebody, and their best friend, and their best friend might not be a good match for them to work together. So therefore, we have this, we try to put the teams together for them, so that they can have this good experience of working with different people they might never work with in the first place. Okay, so having diversity helps to ensure that a team has the skills, capability, and knowledge necessary for the successful completion of tasks. So we have to focus and make sure that students complete their tasks, even though there are large teams involved. So there's a lot of monitoring involved, monitoring, observation, and make sure that they have their meetings, to make sure that we are on task. Okay, therefore, this framework provides a better opportunity for students to build team skills and learn from one another, while focusing on achieving the task for the team projects. So this study is still in progress, so I'm hoping to collect more data, and I just want to see how their experience are, and hopefully they can learn from one another. Okay, thank you everyone.